Hello, my good students. Welcome back to our War on the Sea series as the mighty Imperial Japanese Navy, joining straight hot off the heels of our previous episode. And what an episode it was. So many engagements, so many opportunities taken, and still some left over from that. We didn't see all of our engagements through to a decisive end, so we have quite a few options to take once we get to the strategic map in a second. So having said that, I think let's just get straight into it, shall we? There's nothing really to say. Let's go to it, shall we? Alrighty then, so just a quick recap of what we dealt with in the last episode. We have taken care of the majority of a merchant convoy coming from this sort of direction to Guadalcanal. Our Tonne task force did deal with most of the escorts dealing with that. They only have, I think, 3 merchant ships left and a New Orleans, which has been mildly damaged. Just going to look quickly at the armament left on our ships. I think, yeah, we can leave them for one more engagement, I think. Looking at the damage on Tonne there, that's absolutely fine. That's the damage saturation, we're going to call it, that we've had for a while now after, I think, a bombing run. That's only the 2 general flooded systems that don't really do too much for us. It's not a problem. We can leave it like that. So we're going to keep them in the area. What we're going to do is have them patrol, I think, backwards and forwards here. So what we're going to do is click the patrol bus and keep them specifically in that area. Although we might want to pull them back just a little bit, because these Kates over here and exactly here, they're pulling back from trying to hit a South Dakota task force. This has 1 South Dakota, I think 1 heavy cruiser and a couple light cruisers with it. It wasn't too big. It might just be the 2 cruisers and a destroyer with escorting it, so it's not too bad. But we do need to get rid of the South Dakota before we get a surface engagement with that, because I do not trust our ships at the moment to take that on. Just because I'm not quite skilled. I'll admit I'm not quite skilled enough to trust myself in taking that on. I'm not messing it up. I am going to tell the Kates over here to properly return to base. They should have done that ages ago. So let's do that now. Unless they were ones that I had already... it doesn't look like it. I don't think so. There's only 8 in the flight. They were returning to base. We do, of course, have our submarine hunting group going through the straits here. Those are there because that's where I have encountered submarines the most. And because we have, of course, been caught short before with a submarine or 2 landing troops on the Shortland Islands, which we did manage to fend off, only losing, I think, 3 people with that engagement, gone down from 25 to 22. So we're going to keep them there, and it does keep our shipping, which is in Task Force 7, that much safer. And that's just going, like I said in the previous episode, to give just 4,000 supplies to Guadalcanal. Now, I don't know if anyone, or if a lot of people are aware of this, but of course supplies give a bonus to your troops' efficiency just by having a 1-to-1 ratio between supplies and troops. But also having a leveled up airfield and port also gives a boost as well to the efficiency of your troops on the ground there. And the bonus there is specifically 20% per level, and that compounds onto each other as well. So let's say we're getting no bonus from this port here because it's a level 0 port. We have nothing there. But we're actually getting 40% bonus because we have 2 or a level 2 airfield there. So that's 20% for a level 1 and 20% for a level 2. And those aren't mutually exclusive either. If we had a level 1 airfield here and a level 1 port here, that would go to a 40% bonus to our fighting power on the ground there as well. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're ever stuck wondering about what ports and airfields to upgrade, then think maybe what is the most susceptible or most likely to take an invasion. And of course Guadalcanal is a top priority for that, because for the Japanese and for the Americans you do have to build up your strength there anyway to win the game. But if you're stuck and not too sure otherwise what's to do, then maybe think about defending just by upgrading your ports and airfields. So that's something just on the side for you there. Anyway, I think that's enough for the intro there. I think we should just get going. And it is day 45, so done quite a lot here. We are, of course, sending the Terazuki back. Where is that? That's over here to repair. Let's actually double check before we carry on what our rest repair is looking like. The Yamato is going to take 10 days. Ryujo's got 9 days. To be fair, this is... if we had the points for it, this would be a very nice task force in itself, wouldn't it? Got so many destroyers and Mogami cruisers, as well as the Yamato to repair. I would love that. Let's have a look at our losses. Throughout the whole game, we have lost only 2 destroyers and a cow, which is actually very acceptable. And the enemy losses are, of course, astronomical. Mostly merchant ships, but oh, very juicy, very juicy. So, let's carry on, shall we? I'm going to actually press play and not skip over just yet, because I do think we're going to come into contact with something soon. And there we are. And that is, we're coming up the rear of the merchant ships here. And this is the engagement I was waiting for with the Tone Task Force. So let's just go straight into that. And turn off fire at will, because fire at will is disgusting, and I hate it. And we're going to make sure everything is still in circular formation. We're going to form up like that. And here we go. So, they should be right in front of us, pretty much. See if we can use our binoculars to spot them. What we're looking out for here is any sort of faint silhouettes. It might be a bit difficult to see if you're sat further away from the screen, of course, when you're watching. But it is, of course, difficult to see anyway. We should be okay. What's the retreat timer saying? It's saying 0. What we could do... there's no point in launching star shells out, is there? Don't like this at all. We have no air... we've got no air in the sky either to spot anything. I'm very tempted to actually skip over this. Just going to give us a couple more seconds, have a quick scout. Here we go, right in front of us. Like I said, you do have to be a bit patient because you cannot see everything. You can see, I don't know if you can see the faint silhouettes in the background there. They are coming towards us by the looks of it. So what we're going to do is get our heavy cruisers to target them. Going to get the number 1 which we sighted, and that is the New Orleans. So we're going to go to American. It is firing at us. That's half the reason we've spotted it, because we saw the muzzle flashes. So what we're going to do is fire a full AP spotting and a spotting on the secondaries with HE. And we're going to do the same with all of our heavy cruisers. So that's the Furutaka, the Mogami, and the Tone, of course. Exactly the same. Just get some spotting shells off. Just like that. I'm going to turn on the air radar as well here, because that carrier is also about, the enemy carrier. And they may be sending fighters or attack aircraft our way. Not overly likely just yet. Still fairly early in the day, 2 minutes to 9 in the morning. And what I'm going to do is try and turn out so we can get a decent broadside on them. We're also going to take advantage of the camera here and look at how they're moving with the rest of their ships. Doesn't necessarily look like they're peeling off. Okay, so if they are peeling off, they're going to a northwesterly route here. What is the distance, actually, on our ships? It is 16.8 kilometers. That is quite the distance. I'm going to double check the Furutaka's firings. Yeah, okay, so it can fire its main guns out to a range of 29.4 kilometers, and its secondaries can certainly reach as well at 14.8 kilometers. Excellent stuff. We do appear to have a decent broadside on that at the moment, because the New Orleans is pulling away though. This may be another engage and retreat situation, but we shall have to wait and see, I'm afraid. You do have to be very patient with your surface engagements. And it is, yeah, very much a waiting game to see what your solution is doing. There's not a hell of a lot you can do in the clear skies to increase your targeting solutions. It's just keeping on top of how you are firing your guns. So we are currently on AP full spot. We're gonna, now that we're on 50 and 54, we're going to go to a narrow spotting fire with the foot attacker. I think we're going to do the same with our other heavy cruisers as well. Mogami deciding to just slow down to a halt there. I think that's just so it can keep in line with the foot attacker. And the Tonne is going to come round. That's absolutely fine. Everything is centered around the foot attacker, it seems. It's not a problem. I am going to increase our movement speed to 30 knots. I'm not going to fire with our destroyers yet. I'm actually going to have a look. Why is it telling me what the foot attacker is doing? I don't want that. I want the destroyers. What we're on, the Furbicky, I believe this is. Doesn't matter, they're all very much the same main guns. Yeah, they can fire out to a range of 18.3 kilometers. So that will certainly reach New Orleans. But it's at this sort of range, it won't do a hell of a lot of damage, especially since they're firing HE rather than AP shells. Interestingly enough, probably a bit embarrassing to say really, but when I first started playing the game, I had a situation where I had basically won a surface engagement. All that was left was a very damaged New Orleans ship, which was completely dead in the water, and only I think 2 main battery guns working. So I thought, okay, well I can retreat the rest of my ships, but I'll send maybe just 1 destroyer in close. It's fairly damaged already. So you can see where this is going, can't you? To just finish it off. I think to a range of like 2 kilometers, so basically point blank. And I think it was taken out by the secondaries of the enemy heavy cruiser, and wasn't able to actually finish it off at point blank with its HE guns. They're just far too small. Especially I think it was an Akizuki, which has smaller main battery guns anyway than most Japanese ships, or most destroyers in general. So you do have to remember that destroyers, their main battery guns aren't particularly useful against larger ships, which is why we don't tend to use them on cruisers or battleships. We use them on destroyers or merchant ships ourselves. So anyway, I'll leave you there and we'll see what happens. So after that I decided actually we're going to retreat from that and actually disengage the enemy, because they were in full retreat mode and our targeting solutions were going down to the between 30 and 20% because New Orleans was engaging its smoke screen generator. So we just had to leave that. We're getting far too far away from them, weren't getting any progress on that, which is a shame. I think having said that then, we're going to change our course with the Tonne Task Force, bring it up outside the Shokaku Task Force, and just to rearm and resupply its ammunition there at the Shortland Islands so it's ready again for the future. And I think we're going to check at looking at upgrading that task force actually, and giving it reinforcements in itself to make sure it does get more decisive engagements, so we are actually happier taking engagements with it. And you know, the best way to do that is by giving it some battleships. And the one we're going to go for is of course going to be the Fuso. Now how much does that cost? That costs 74. Okay, we'll get the one then. We'll get the one, and of course we're going to give it some more destroyers. I think just the 1 or 2. I do sort of want to give it another Akizuki. Just because we want some sort of air cover. We do of course have 2 other destroyers in there, so I think that will be fine for now. Let's do that. Let's do done. And that's got us down to 32 command points in total. That is brilliant stuff. That is going to be quite a slow force because the Fuso itself can only get a max speed of 24 knots or so, which is going to be a problem now. If we want to chase anything, we're not going to be able to do it. So this is having to be... we're going to have to take some decisive engagements if we do take anything up with this, but that's not a problem at all. We're going to try and launch some air groups from Guadalcanal, just some zeros, to escort the Tonne Task Force back to the Shortland Islands, because it did get spotted, I think, previously by scout planes launched from the Aircraft Carrier Task Force. Or if not, it has been spotted anyway, and the Aircraft Carrier Task Force is about. So we don't want that to get hit. Having said that, we're going to launch some more... more planes off of Shokaku. I think we're going to go for some vows, go launch aircraft, but we need to wait 0.3 hours. Not a problem. In that case, we might wait for these Kates to come back as well. I'll see you in a second. Hello everyone, welcome back. It's only been a few seconds for you, but it's been quite some time for me. In game it has been about 2 hours worth of time, in which we did of course re-engage the merchant convoy again with our surface fleet, but we were both going opposite ends of the engagement area. We were both retreating naturally, so I did not take that and nothing came of it. So I decided to launch some Vals and some Kates from the Shokaku to try and chase them down. They are retreating back to the New Hebrides by the looks of it, so we're going to try and catch them. And actually, if they're going to retreat, what I want to hit is going to be the New Orleans. So that's what we're going to take with the Vals. And once we've hit them with the Vals, we're going to get our Kates to move in and try and mop up. I'm going to see, hopefully we sink it with the Vals, but you never know. You're not going to have a 100% chance to sink anything with Vals at all, but that's the case with anything really. But Vals are used more for slowing down enemy ships, of course. And Kates are of course used to destroy ships. We do only have 2 flights of Kates, 2 squads of Kates, because all that were available were 8 planes on our carrier at the time. Not a problem at all. So we're going to move them into position to strike as soon as we are done with the New Orleans with our Vals, just to see what happens there. That will take them some time, just enough time for our Vals to come in and attack them. Going to try and change the positions here just so we're not so clumped up and susceptible to their flak. I'm going to tell this group to attack because we're looking very close, and this one is also going to attack. This one I think I'm going to move up, actually. I'm going to do that immediately. Just change their angle. And actually they're close enough now I can tell them to attack. But their angle, because of taking evasive maneuvers, is becoming rather narrow, so I'm not expecting anything major here. Just again to slow it down for our Kates to come in. It's looking decent, it's looking decent. Oh, that is beautiful. That was only 2 strikes as well. Come on. Come on, my dudes. Get us another one. Do us proud. Lovely stuff. That one wasn't so great, but we did get right on the midship, so you can see the massive fires billowing out on this on the deck there. So that will make for a very easy target for our Kates, which are now very close. So what we're going to do is, because their angle is not looking good at all, we're going to bring one group of Kates up and get them to target the New Orleans. And I think then we're going to go for a merchant ship as well, just for a try our luck there. Just to get some more command points and to make sure they get the message that they need to go home, like E.T. It's not welcome here. Having said that, this angle isn't looking great either. We might change it when we get closer. How's this one looking? Yeah, that needs to turn in just a little bit. That's not a problem. New Orleans is basically dead in the water. That one might actually sink as it is. So what we're going to do is just pause very quickly and look at the reports. That is in critical damage and heavy flooding, but I have seen ships recover from that. So I'm not going to take any chances, and I am going to launch a full flight of Kates at that. I think this group is possibly in a decent position to attack now, so we are going to tell them to do so. And this group, yeah, it's fine, looking good. Can't really, it's not told to target it, not a problem. Let's do that now. Can't really miss. That's a singular plane. That is stupid. Let's tell everyone to attack. That's why it wasn't working. Doesn't matter. All 4 torpedoes are on target, and they can't really miss a stationary ship, can they? That won't happen at all. There we go, and that is that. The New Orleans is definitely sunk now. And so is the merchant ship, which you only got with 2 torpedoes. That was very lucky. Must have hit both the stem and the stern directly there, which is excellent stuff. Spreading out the damage as we like to do. So we did lose 3 Kates in that, and that did cause some rather frustrating when I was trying to get a cinematic shot there, I will admit, because it likes to flick over the camera, even though you don't want it to view them. But yeah, besides from that, excellent strike. Excellent strike. Finally, New Orleans. I think there's only 2 left now remaining in the Guadalcanal theatre. And of course, some more command points for us. We're now much safer around Guadalcanal. So let's retreat and get out of here, really. And of course, once you do that, you do need to tell your planes to return to your carrier as soon as possible. How many planes do we have available on the Shokaku? Kates, we have 14 available because we have those 5 returning. We do have quite a lot of vowels coming back. I don't think we lost any. No, we didn't actually lose any vowels. We do have quite a lot of luck with our vowels, which is brilliant stuff. May think about returning with the Shokaku once again, but I think it'd be quite a waste of time. We do have quite a few planes, so we've got quite a few vowels available. So let's just keep going. We do still have the battleship group over here to think about. Hopefully they're retreating. I have launched some recon planes to scout out for them from all available sources, and they are focusing on this sort of area here. I am sending one up here just to see if they're going to Guadalcanal. But other than that, not a lot to say really. Let's continue on, shall we, and see what happens. Instantly, as soon as I press play, we get an unknown encounter with the Shokaku task force, very likely a submarine encounter. So what we're going to do is actually turn on our air radar and turn off fire at will, make sure everything's got sonar on, and have a look, see what's going on. What I'm going to do then is actually tell everyone to reverse as soon as we start, because that is apparently the most efficient way we've found so far of avoiding torpedoes. Just seems to work for us. Get Shokaku, of course, to evade itself. The Naganami, the destroyers, can actually just slow down their speeds, just to make sure our sonars are working. They're not all on, which is a bit rude. Not all on. That will not help us if they're not turned on. Did the Naganamis get turned on? No, it didn't. Okay. Now let's keep an eye out for some torpedoes, shall we? This needs to slow down so its sonar works a bit better. We don't want to make ourselves too loud, and we have spotted some torpedoes off of our starboard there. At least on the map we have. Doesn't look like they're going to hit anything just yet, but we are going to have to move our Fubuki round ourselves. There they are. That is very close. Okay, interesting. I'm going to speed right up then. We should be okay. I think we reversed just in time there. Just in time. So again, just some patience is needed. I might actually get the Naganami to stop, because that's, or reverse a little bit actually, because that is looking a tad dangerous if it keeps going in that course. The Hibiki can actually go in that direction as well. What I'm going to do is tell it, give us a waypoints just down here. Actually, let's change that a little bit, go a bit steeper turn, like that. And the Fubuki can carry on as it is, straight ahead. Yeah, it's not looking too bad actually, is it? So the way I like to do this is actually just play as fast as possible. So we're going to compress time and actually exploit the camera a little bit. I know some people don't like that, but it is the most efficient way of doing these things, unfortunately. I'm going to turn out a little bit with Fubuki so it doesn't collide with Hibiki. And that should do there. What I'm going to do then is actually slow down a bit more to hopefully pick them up on sonar a bit better. And we have picked them up with the Hibiki just there. So what we're going to do is actually engage with the Hibiki rather than the Fubuki, because that is pretty much on top of them. Look at that, they're still at, it's not quite periscope depth, but that's near enough. So we're going to get them to brake and do as I say. And actually not reverse. I do apologise if you hear some plumbing in the background. People downstairs, bit rude really, bit narrow-minded. Actually want to turn to starboard here so we get our rear onto them, catch up. What we're going to do is prepare some depth charges as a 2 volley. And yeah, they're trying to dive, but your time is up. We have spotted you. The Shokaku decided to turn there. I'm going to tell everyone to stop and just make sure nothing happens with that. Because that really shouldn't be turning. I suppose that's just automatic evasion from the AI there. So you do have to watch out for that. Not a problem though. We're going to tell the Naganami to stop. Well, actually no, we're not. We're going to go straight over to Hibiki and make sure it's right on top of here. Don't want to lose this opportunity. Okay, so course, you do have to remember that depth charges are launched off of the rear of your ship. Actually, I think with the Fubikis they're launched towards quite a central pattern. They do shoot out rather than get rolled off the back. But it is best to have the rear of your ship on the submarine, which is much easier then. We're going to increase our speed, and we're going to compress time just a little bit, and then we're going to pause. not pause, no, we're not allowed to do that anymore. I did actually take up that challenge. So we're going to do that, just be a tad more careful. This is a tad difficult. Fubiki reports, okay, there's a loss of contact with it. That's not a problem. That's why we're going to exploit this camera. I am going to drop some depth charges now, because this is as good a chance as any at the moment. Might take us some time to actually turn around and get an ideal pattern there. This is going to miss pretty much. Get some minor damage on its stern. Might be worth reversing rather than trying to turn around forwards. So you know what I want to do is just keep up with it. So do a tighter turn, and we'll increase our speed actually, and we'll compress time again, just because it's going to take some time. This is going to be quite a wide turn, and this has certainly not been managed the best. That's not a problem. Not a problem at all. There we go, see? Easy stuff. We do need to turn in a bit more. We're going to reduce our speed again and turn around, increase our speed, because we've got to remember that submarines do travel roughly, I think it's about 11 kilometers, or 11 knots when they're underwater. And there we have it. I think we're in a decent position to fire off some depth charges again. That's about as good as it's going to get at the moment. I think we do, of course, need to reverse maybe over it again to try and get a decent path, which I think is what we're going to do, because we are overshooting it a bit now. I am telling the Fubiki to reverse and try and intercept it, but it's looking like it's evading us quite well. What might happen is we get some superficial damage and actually force the submarine to surface. Does the Miyoko have depth charges actually? It does. That is interesting. We need to remember that actually. But Hibiki now reversing. We're going to turn around with it. We're going to turn to starboard. Get it going. There we go. And once you've turned around and adjusted your position, turn around the other way and increase your speed just a little bit, and we'll get to it in a second. And there we are once again, pretty much on top of it. It's a tad difficult here. We do need to be leading it, so we're going to increase our speed again and try and turn. But we're not quite in the right position there to drop anything either. Do want to get pretty much on top of it. This is a tad too far out, I think. Lest we fire off some in a second and increase the spread of our depth charges. And I think that is looking pretty good. So what we're going to do is just lead it a little bit and fire off some more depth charges, and hopefully that'll be pretty decent. It has taken quite a while to get to this stage, so we're going to fire them now and hope for the best, really. You don't always get direct hits with depth charges. That's not what you should be expecting at all. Especially with the pattern of how some of the destroyers fire them. Do fire them quite spread out, as you see here. But that's looking actually not too bad. We're going to get a couple more hits here, I think. Decent. Let's look at the report. It's taking heavy damage, so if you wait around, that might actually decide to flood too much and force itself to surface. But I think what we want to do is come around again for another attack and see what happens with that. That again is actually not looking too bad. I think going to fire some off now, take any opportunity we can. That should be the last attack. I'm going to reverse our speed. There we go. You can see it blowing now. It is forcing itself to actually come up to the surface. So what we're going to do is actually bring our Hibiki out and turn round, so we can get some guns firing on it. But it is so close to the rest of our task force, it might actually get some Miyoko secondaries or the Shokaku secondaries to fire at it as well, rather than the Fubiki's main batteries. So see what happens, and it should come up to the surface. that took far too long, I will admit. Could have been handled a lot better, but we did sink another submarine, which is excellent news. Because we had actually not sighted any submarines for a while. I was wondering where they were. It does mean that our carrier group is that much safer. So what I'm going to do is actually launch some zeros. Actually, no, I can't because I need to wait for the Shokaku to be ready. I'm going to launch zeros because I do fear that now that we've been spotted, I'm always in fear of that enemy aircraft carrier launching something at us, which is rather a shame. In fact, excuse me, having said that, a few episodes ago I was thinking about getting another submarine. Let's ruddy bloody go for it, shall we? Let's get another submarine out. Like that. It does cost 12. I swear they've gone up in price. Used to be something like 7, I swear, but that's absolutely fine. Not a problem. That is how it should be. Submarines are extremely powerful. We're going to bring that down here just to help scout up that carrier for now. And of course it will be used later on for other things. So let's get going again, shall we? We do sight the merchant ships coming out here. I might actually try and intercept them with I-17 just to make sure they do get sunk, or at least one of them does in one strike. Maybe we'll catch something else out there. We are keeping a lookout for the battleship group, of course. Did just see a recon plane, an enemy recon plane coming off this sort of direction. So what I'm going to do is get to the Tonic Task Force and launch, say, a recon plane of our own in that direction. I'm going to go here and out like that just to try and follow its path. And we're going to try and just come out and scout as much as we can over there. I'm going to launch another one off of Mogami in that direction just to scout out that area as well, just to cover it with another plane. Let's have a look, shall we? Shokaku is ready to launch. Having said that, I am going to launch some zeros like we said earlier, like that, and they're just going to give us some combat air patrol over the Shokaku. Excellent stuff. Let's carry on. Shokaku is ready to launch again, not a problem. Don't want to launch anything else on the Shokaku until we've spotted some other ships. I'm going to bring this I-17 up because it looks like it's just off of course to intercept any ships there. And there we go, it's just about ready. So I'm going to just adjust that a little bit more. I am still worried about that battleship group that we did see. So I'm sure will rear its ugly head again. Okay, so we're in a decent position here. They can't do anything against us. What we're going to do is target this one over here, identify it, but first turn around with our I-17 there to get our torpedoes facing it. We're going to upscope and identify the ship as such, as it should be. It's a Type C3. And just get going, really. Not a lot to say. It's just a very simple very simple sub strike here. I'm sure it'll be a subpar strike. I'm sure we'll fluff this somehow. But really shouldn't be the case. Like I said, they can't do anything against us other than dodge. I'm sure they will. What I'm going to do is launch, I think, 3 torpedoes at a 1 degree spread, and hopefully that'll be enough. None of them miss, and none of them are duds. And that is probably the easiest engagement you're ever going to get in this game. But also a very strategically sound one. So with that being done, do have 8 torpedoes left in the I-17. We're going to bring it up to screen the Shokaku a little. I don't know what that is. And with the Shokaku, I think we are going to push on forward. We have lost our cap. They ran out of fuel. So we're going to launch them again, like that, and just bring them over like that on the Shokaku there. Our Task Force 7 is very close to supplying Guadalcanal, and our Fuso is very slowly steaming out there. Actually being caught up, I think, by the I-19, which it just launched, which is a rather sad state to be in, actually. That shows just how slow it is. I'm going to try and catch whatever it is out here with our I-15. But hopefully our Jakes will be able to spot that soon. They only have 5 kilometers left of endurance. So what I'm going to do is make sure we've launched some scouts off of the our submarines here and screen again in front of the Shokaku. Bring one just over here as well, because sometimes the Americans do like to use that passage into Guadalcanal. And it is nice to have all your bases covered. I'm going to bring this Jake straight out here again to cover what these Jakes could not quite reach, and hopefully spot something there. I'm going to take advantage of the Jakes available in the Shokaku task force as well. They're going to come out over here, or one of them is at least, just to cover that area. And I'm going to launch one off of the Chikuma as well to come out and double check. So we have 2 Jakes in this particular area as well, spotting or trying to spot that American battleship task force. I'm going to also get a Jake out from the Congo, but what that's going to do is actually patrol round the task force in a 90 kilometer radius and keep it like that. Where exactly is our Tonne task force? It's over here going back to the Shortland Islands. I don't think there's any need to launch any scouts from there, so let's carry on. Alrighty then, so just a quick update. We have just dropped our supplies onto Guadalcanal, so that's going to help us better. We have 8.5 thousand supplies to 6.3 thousand troops, so this should definitely win that. It's taken quite a while to tick over to the end there. I think that's because they were undersupplied. But we are going to look at, it looks like we're going to be resupplied with troops and supplies over here soon. So by the time they get back up, they might just be able to launch another supply task down to Guadalcanal and reinforce it even more there. We have rearmed the Tonne task force, and we are going to merge our Fuso and Suzuki with that. So we're going to click merge groups here with both of our ships, like that. We're going to double check what the formation looks like now. I do want the Fuso in a central position, so we're going to swap it out with the Kazuchi there, which is on the bottom one, no, it's the top one, and that is swap positions there. So off we got leading. The Inazuma is the #1 leading. Furataka is central alongside Mogami and Tonne. I think that's actually okay. The Mogami and Tonne do have a greater torpedo armament than the Furataka, so we certainly want them on the edges, able to launch them when possible. And having the Suzuki and the Kazuchi on the rear is rather useful as well in case of subsequent submarine attacks, which is brilliant stuff. Yeah, let's keep it like that, I think. Let's get going, and what we're going to do is bring them all the way down towards the usual route. We're going to bring them down to Guadalcanal just in case we miss anything with our forward task forces there. Bring them over here, but I think we're actually going to try and bring them out down here as well and try and engage something around there. I do think there is something lurking there. It is night time, so we can't get any aircraft up just yet, so we're going to carry on just like that at full speed. Won't be very long. Excellent stuff. Let's get some recon out from every possible source, I think. We're going to scout with our I-17 Jake in front. Going to go in a route like that. And we're going to go with the Shokaku force. We're going to get one from the Myoko. And that's going to scout just ahead here with the I-17. That's going to go down here as well, just in case there's something about. With the Chikumas, we're going to go back behind us, and we're going to check these straits over here again, and just very quickly come back down behind the routes here and check like that, I think. We're going to get some zeros from Guadalcanal, and they're going to scout out as well around here. They do have a little less endurance than Jakes. They are very good scouts, and of course you can use them to strafe anything if you need to. The I-15 here is going to launch a Jake as well, and that is going to help it scout out what the bloody hell is down here. I'm just going to do a small radial style scouting path there, because I don't think we're too far away from anything. I don't think anything's in this particular position just yet. Though having said that, we're going to go to our Fuso task force, and this Pete should be, yeah, it's from the Furataka. It's just a small radial patrol around there, just to give us some tiny bit of advance warning in case anything's about. We're going to launch a Jake from the Tonne and scout around here. Even though I said nothing's about, it is nice to double check. because you never know for sure. We're going to launch one more from the Mogami, and that's going to go straight down here and double check our rear again like that. So let's have a quick look. It's very nice to see them all burst out. But here we go, here we go, here we go. So that is very likely the same battleship group we spotted previously. So what we're going to do, it's very interesting it doesn't want to push up. I know we did strike it, but yeah, it's very strange it's not pushing up. So what we're going to do is get our IE-17 up and try and intercept it like that. How much fuel does our Jake have now? 600 kilometers-ish. So what we're going to do is actually try and just keep sight on that for now. And we are, of course, going to launch... So we'll launch some valves from the Shokaku. But that's not necessarily going to go for the battleship. We'll see what happens. I think I want to go for a cruiser there with those. Just to weaken them. Not necessarily... I didn't press that. I did not press that. That's wasted some fuel now. That's rather annoying. Change their course accidentally there. Not a problem. Shokaku is ready to launch again. Okay. If it's ready to launch again, what we could do is get these in position and do this. We're going to launch the rest of our valves and hope that we can all get them in together and launch an even more devastating attack like that. Just going to wait over here like that, and that should be good enough there. Actually, we're going to bring this second group in just a little bit closer. So we're right on top of each other like that. There we go. Brilliant stuff. That is good positioning. And it's rather early in the morning as well, and we're on their stern. Excellent stuff. You can see them just over here. That looks like their stern, unless they're coming forwards. Okay, they are coming forwards. You know what? I think I am going to go for the battleship with this position. That is very nice because if we're on their fronts, their AA is not going to reach us there so well. So what we're going to do is come up like this, and we're actually going to get, I think, 3 squads of valves to go for the battleship, and we're going to get another 3 on a cruiser, and that will be lovely. Can we still see? Oh, okay, interesting. This is not the same battleship group that we saw previously. This is very new. So this is a North Carolina, and they have different escorts as well. So there are 2 possible groups out there, which is rather interesting. So that's a Brooklyn, and that is an Atlanta. I think the Atlanta is one we want to hit, actually, because that's the greater threat to our air. This is another Porter. This behind is, I think that's a Benson perhaps, yeah, possibly, or a Benham. Not too bad at all. So what we're going to do is do the same over here. This number 3 was the Atlanta, wasn't it? Excellent stuff. So we're going to get the rest of our valves to come round. Going to come on its front and attack that, I think. Like I said, the reason for going for the front of the ship is that the AA is not going to be so good on that part. Although with the Atlanta, of course, it does have those dual-purpose guns, which is something to look out for. This is very nice little spot here. I'm liking this. I'm not going to go with a line ahead formation, even though it's a narrow target, just because I've had bad luck with that in the past. In fact, what I am going to do is go in a box formation, because I think box would be actually rather useful here. I'm going to tell everyone to go in a box, like that. Excellent stuff, excellent stuff. Just to make things a little tighter. Brilliant one, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Looking much better now. We are going to tell them all to attack before we run out of time. Excellent stuff. How's the position here? Yeah, definitely tell them all to attack. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to dive in time. And we're not really going to change our angle too much from that. And we're ready to launch on the battleship here as well. And that seems like a very successful strike. Obviously not going to sink anything. Some decent damage though. Decent damage. That's certainly going to slow them down and reduce their efficiency in later engagements. In fact, it looks like we've taken out one of their gun turrets here, which is very useful. And we did lose minimal vowels. Oh, minimal damage. Minimal damage. We might even get another collision here. The AI loves collisions. Come on, mate. Go on. You know you want to. Nah, they're turning out from it. So we're going to ask for a retreat. I should have done that a tad earlier, but it's not a problem. Not losing any more vowels. Very happy with only losing 3 vowels to that. Vowels, oh, we had such good luck with them. And the hit rate is brilliant. Look at all of those hits the North Carolina took. Such a big target. And the Atlanta actually took a fair few as well. I would happily take that. You can see the fire's still going there. What's the wind like? Speed's actually down from usual, so fires won't spread so easily. We might get a little love tap here. Come on, you know you want to. Fires actually gets even worse on the North Carolina there. Come on, just take out its rudder just a little bit. You know you want to. There you go. Oh, dearie me. Well, let's leave it at that. Ruin their dignities enough as it is. And heavy damage to the North Carolina, actually. Of course, we're not really expecting any flooding because, you know, it's a deck drop attack. But the fact that the Atlanta's taking on moderate flooding, I think that's just from the tap at the end there from the North Carolina. So, but the fact they're both in heavy damage is actually extremely good. That was a very successful strike. I'm happy to do that again, I'll tell you that. So let's tell both of our vowels to return to base, like so. Using the shortcuts on the sidebar here. And I think we'll try and hit that with the I-17, or maybe some Kates. And that might be it for today. Let's have a look. Oh, this is a great position. This is a great position. It was looking on the strategic map that we were exactly on top of them with no room to maneuver. But I am taking this very happily. Let's put our scope up. And actually, I'm going to compress time a bit just because we're only waiting to get into position. I am certainly going to go for the battleship here. Actually, do I want to? Might not be a great idea. Let's go for it anyway. Let's go for it anyway. We like to take risks on this channel, and we like to go for the big boys. So what I'm going to do with that is actually launch all available torpedoes at a 1 degree spread. And yeah, like I said, we're going to compress time just so we turn around a little bit. Might actually be behind them a little bit when we do fire. It's not a huge problem. Just need to turn around a little bit more. That won't be too bad. And what is the range? 3.5 kilometers away. Okay, we've got a decent firing face there. So we're going to stop turning. And we're actually going to stop our engines because their sonar might just detect us. It might just detect us. Never know. So, 6 torpedoes in the tube, 1 degree spread, Grai Hasha. Excellent stuff. Oh, it's a beautiful sight, that. Beautiful sight. So, we're just going to wait for all of our torpedoes to launch. And I think that's that. Excellent stuff. So, we're going to downscope and retreat because we're going to be in very big trouble if they decide to try and intercept us there. So we're going to dive down and we're going to retreat like this, away from them. And once we've dived down and got a little bit of distance, we are actually going to go to silent mode. But it is, of course, a bit gamey, but it's also a good idea to get your retreat timer on as early as possible. Just in case, because they do like to send their destroyers basically exactly where you are. They don't always spot you very well. But you never know, you never know. But it's looking good so far, this attack. It's looking good so far. Might hit the Brooklyn, but if it does, that's just another target hit. That's another ship down if it does. The Brooklyn is what I'm worried about, though, because if it doesn't hit the Brooklyn and it warns the North Carolina in time, it might not hit with anything here. Depends, they really should be slowing down now if that's the case, though, because they're going to get less reaction time, of course, the closer we get. It's not looking too bad, though. It's not looking too bad. Looks like they're going to pass over the Brooklyn. Yeah, okay. Maybe they won't. Maybe they won't. This is still not a done deal just yet. On the map, they're looking like they're going to pass over. So this is the thing. If I went for a 2-degree spread, we would definitely have hit the Brooklyn there. Just because of how many torpedoes we have. Look at that. Oh, come on. It might actually just clip it. No. Okay, and they're not taking any evasive maneuvers. I'll take that, mate. I will take that. The rest are going to hit the North Carolina. They've got to. I'll be actually very upset if they don't. That's not going to hit the bulge either. That's going to be on the stern. Oh, its propeller is done for. Excellent stuff. It's taken 4 torpedoes to the stern. The Brooklyn's taken some damage to its bow. Started some fires. The sea state's 4. So it could be more in our favour. I'd like a 5 or a 6 really. Those fires aren't going to spread because the wind isn't particularly fast. But a decent strike. A decent strike. I don't think that will sink it. Let's double check on our I-17. Yeah, that is speeding away very nicely. So what we're going to do is actually go to silent mode. And that will help us a little bit. We're going to slow down as well, actually, just to 5 knots. It does look like we've dived down a fair amount. Yeah, that's where we wanted to be. 80 meters below sea level. Oh, this is brilliant stuff. Yeah, we've absolutely destroyed the rudder and propeller on the North Carolina there. It is a complete sitting duck. If we had some Kates in the area, oh, I wish we did now. We'd be able to finish that off for sure. I'm hoping that gets scuttled, really. But we'll have to see. Well, at the end of that one, the North Carolina was left in critical damage and heavy flooding, and the Brooklyn was left in heavy damage and heavy flooding, which is excellent stuff. I might try and hit that with some Kates. How many do we have available? 14. Okay, so that's 1 strike, actually. That would be good enough. Do have 0.5 hours to wait there, though. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to assume they're going to retreat with that. So I'm going to bring our I-17 down just a little bit, try and give chase, and it's going to come back out just to go back into a patrol path if it doesn't pick that up. But otherwise we're going to carry on and see what happens. Our planes are going back to base, so what I want to do is actually get them back up and try not to lose sight of that task force. Like that. Just keep a radial search on with the I-17's Jake. Just like that. And we're going to get some off of the Myoko and Chikuma again. Just to have a quick look. That one's going to come like this. And try not to miss anything like that. Let's go to the Chikuma. And that is going to launch one, I think pretty much the same sort of pattern. We're going to come down like that though. And if we don't see anything there, we know they're retreating. So let's do that. Shokaku is ready to launch again. I'm not going to launch any attack aircraft until we've sighted them again, I don't think. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Okay, interesting. So we can now see that they have some attack aircraft coming in. And we do have to take this engagement. So before we start that, we're going to launch some Zeros off of here. And get them to patrol over the Shokaku. The fact that the attack aircraft are coming from this position suggests that their carrier is no longer over here, which does make me wonder where that bloody Scout aircraft was coming from earlier. We do have to take this engagement, there's no ignore chance. How close are we to them? That is the question. Can we actually spot them? We can retreat straight away, but yeah, there's no chance we're going to actually hit anything with our submarine here. We are 17.5 kilometers away from them. And yeah, look at that, it's completely dead in the water. Kate will absolutely rip that apart. So let's leave, really. It's gone up. The retreat time has gone up because we spotted this. So I'll see it back on the strategic map, I think. Okay, so now I know where they are. We do have to give them a little bit of time to re-engage them, but we might be able to catch up with our I-17, and we do need to wait for our Shokaku to be able to launch aircraft again. Do you know we don't? That's brilliant stuff. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to launch some Kates straight away, bring them over here, and that should be enough time to actually find them again. Excellent stuff. I'm going to change the course of one of these Jakes because they are overlapping on each other, so I'm going to bring it over here. And that's going to come like that, just to try and keep contact with anything out there again. So hopefully we spot them before our Kates run out of fuel. This is not looking like the case. There we go. Excellent stuff. So they are on the retreat. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Let's go straight over. Shokaku's ready to launch more aircraft. That's not a problem at the moment. I want to get this battleship. I'm getting very greedy. Where are they? Where the bloody hell are they? Oh, right on top of them. That's not ideal. So what we're going to do is actually come out. We're going to increase our speed with everyone. So that's all we need to do at the moment is just increase our speed. Once we're a bit further out, we're going to dive back down. And hopefully they try and take evasive manoeuvres with the rest of their fleet and leave the North Carolina to die. Which is actually what it looks like they're doing. You can see the destroyer breaking away there and the cruisers just speeding on ahead and leaving the North Carolina to die. So what that'll do actually is when we come round, they'll have less AA protection hopefully. Oh, you gotta love it. This is some big brain stuff here. So what we're going to do is come around like this and start diving down, I think. Yeah, let's do that. Come round. Dive down. The number 2 is in North Carolina, isn't it? Yeah, let's do that. Let's actually identify it. So, give it the dignity of that at least. Give it a name. Okay, you lot can come around like that as well. Here you can dive down. There. Brilliant stuff, brilliant stuff. Ho, 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 ho. So I am actually going to let's take a quick report. Yeah, it's taking some repairs. So I am going to launch all of our Kates onto it, just to make sure it dies. I am scared if that torpedo bulge will help us out, and I do like to be sure of these things. Just need to make sure. But the cruisers are leaving it for dead, so it should be quite an easy target. Just need to make sure our angle's okay, which actually we would do now. What we're going to do is we should come just out here and like that, I think, with this group. How close are we to the surface here? Excellent stuff. We're going to just come up a little bit more, like that. I do want a flatter face. At least from attack, not in real life. That would be horrible. And we're going to make sure everyone's targeting. I want this group to attack now, actually. And I want this group to attack now as well. And I want this group to attack now as well. It's not targeting them. That's a bit stupid. There we go. Easy strike. And no, I was going to say we might just be outside of their firing arc, but they're firing now. Actually, what I'm going to do is tell this lot to cease their attack and get them to come round. We might hit the Brooklyn. We're going to see what happens with these strikes otherwise. Because we should be okay, really. Surely 8 torpedoes is enough to make sure we sink it. They're dropping very close as well. I was thinking we wouldn't have time to arm the torpedoes there. But yeah, that's got to sink it. Come on, look at that spread. That's how you do it. Yeah, there we go. 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. They all hit. That should be going down. If that doesn't go down, I'll be very, very sad. Oh dear. Let's take a report. Yeah, critical and critical. That's got to go down. It's surely going down. So the Brooklyn's over here. We're going to target that and come in with these Kates over to it. Let's go straight towards it. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Actually, I might try and come with a slight rear drop there. There we go, yeah, it's definitely sunk now. Brilliant stuff. Didn't lose any of those Kates either. So I'm going to tell these to attack from here. And hopefully they won't lead too much. Hopefully we get some torpedoes on the midsection and the rear, because we've got the 2 torpedoes on the bows that it took in the previous engagement. Should be enough to damage saturate that enough and spread the damage over there enough that any torpedoes taken there won't really do too much other than cause excess flooding, which is useful, but you can keep on top of it. How are we doing? We haven't lost any Kates yet. Are they going to drop? There we go. I was getting scared they weren't going to drop then. And that should do it. Did lose one. We'll probably lose some more as they exit there, because we are right over their cruisers. But this is looking like a lovely drop. Just wait for them all to be duds now. There we go. 3 hits will do it, I reckon. Maybe get one more. Nah, that's just passed under there. That's okay. Got what we wanted. A couple mid-sections, a couple on the rear. Lovely stuff. That not looking like it's going to sink though. But I'll take it. 1 Kates to destroy North Carolina. Ideal strike. Ideal strike. Though this is slowing right down. We might actually get this. We'll order a retreat. Okay, we can go when we want. What's the report saying? It is heavy and heavy, so probably won't sink. That 1 more torpedo might have done it, but yeah, it's okay, it's okay. In fact, I'm going to leave it there and see what happens. Nah, it's not going to get scuttled, of course. But a lovely 26 command points and one of the North Carolinas down. I'm going to double check because I don't think we sunk. Oh, we've sunk both of them. Excellent stuff. I didn't think we sunk another one. So the Americans are now down to just the 2 South Dakotas that are left. And on that high point, I think that is a great place to end the episode there. We had a fair amount happen in the end, if you ask me. Excellent stuff. So thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've been enjoying the series so far, and hope to see you again. But in the meantime, I've been the Edified Gamer, and I hope all your nights and days are auspicious. Goodbye.